The following are true stories from the subreddit Creepy Encounters. I'll have a link in the description below. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more. Let's begin. This happened to me last summer. It was all over the news, and if I gave my name you would be able to Google me and read my testimony. But for now, I will reserve that info. Last summer, I started seeing this new girl, and she was really sweet and pretty perfect. We went out and partied at the Jersey Shore the night prior to this happening and didn't get home till around 3 a.m. When we got home, we had a marathon of sex and didn't fall asleep until around 6:37 a.m. It was such a great night, I was on an adrenaline high. At 11 a.m., she woke up Saturday morning, panicked. She began to scramble and throw on clothes. I asked her what was up, still laying in bed, and she yelled at me, "My parents are coming over her house at 1 p.m. My house is a mess and I have to go buy food and alcohol. I need your help. Get dressed." I slowly got up and rubbed my eyes, still feeling very alive from the night before. We both got dressed, me much calmer than her, and I agreed to drive her to Walmart so she could buy everything she needed for her day with the family. When we got to Walmart, she asked me just to let her out by the front entrance and suggested that I waited in the car, as I was half asleep still and would have only slowed her down. She rushed into the store and I went to go find a parking spot. The lot was packed, so I had to park far away by the tire shop across the lot. I texted her to let me know when she was coming out so I could pull up and pick her up where I dropped her off. As I sat in the car, slightly daydreaming about the great night I had, and fantasizing about the great days to come with my new friend, I closed my eyes and recall beginning to get into a rhythmic breathing pattern that would have put even the most alert person into the state of REM sleep. I felt myself doze off, and it was amazing, the air conditioning from my car gently easing me to Z-land. A few minutes later, my heart raced as I suddenly and violently jolted from my nap. Some very sketchy looking man stood outside my passenger side window holding a red gas can. The way he knocked on my window was what jarred me. I was pissed, and I'm a pretty big guy at 6'5", and this creepy, very tall as well, but very gaunt and slender, a lanky-looking drifter who probably the kind of scumbag that would take any drug you put in front of him. He motioned to me to roll down my window and stuttered out to me, "Hey sir, do you think you can help me out? I just need a few bucks for gas. My car ran out." As I mentioned I was pissed off he woke me up in such a fashion, so my immediate response was a dismissive and rude, "No, I don't have any cash." The vagrant implored me, "Sir, please, I'm desperate, and I'm stranded." Again, I just said no, dismissing him, and began to roll my window up. He stuck his free hand on the top of the window glass. "Sir, even the change in your cup holder could help me, please. I'm in a terrible situation." Realizing this guy wasn't going to leave, I decided to give in, and reached into my pants to fetch out the few singles I had. Before I gave it to him, my friend texted, "I'm outside, where are you?" "Parked by the tire shop dealing with the homeless person begging for money," I responded. I put my phone down and rolled my window down, and it automatically went down all the way. I reached towards the man with $3 in my hand, and what happened next changed my life. In less than a second, I could see he was gearing up to attack me. His face got serious, he pursed his lips, gritting his teeth, and he dropped the gas can and reached in with his left hand, lunging for my arm and grabbing it with all the strength in his 140-pound frail body. I tried to pull away and screamed, "Get the fuck off me!" But he had my arm in a vice grip. With his free hand, he reached into his back pocket and pulled out a syringe which was loaded with God knows what. He turned my free arm up, but it was too late. He had already stuck his needle in my arm and pushed down the plunger, releasing whatever it contained into my bloodstream. I again screamed and pulled my arm free. He pulled back and stared into my car and screamed at me, and I screamed at him, "I'm going to kill you." This made him even more intense as I remembered him screaming, "Bring it on." But before I could hear what he said next, I felt my eyes go black and myself lose consciousness. I was out cold. As it turns out, I woke up several hours later in the hospital bed, my friend and my parents and brother standing over me. They rejoiced as I came to, and my mother called for the doctor and nurse. I asked what happened, and my mother told me, "Sweetheart, you were attacked. A deranged maniac stuck you with a paralyzing agent and you passed out. Jen had spotted you and what was going on. She's the reason you're alive. She saw the man standing around your car and noticed you weren't moving, so she called 911, and luckily, there was a police officer down the street and responded in under 2 minutes. Jen screamed out to the man. She sees him and she's called the cops and they're on her way. He jumped in the car and tried pushing you out of the driver's seat, but before he could, the police arrived and took him down with a non-lethal taser. It turns out he was a homeless, recently released from the mental asylum, and he intended to abduct you, and God only knows what he was going to do to you. But Jen saved your life. What a huge bombshell to drop on someone who just returned to the land of the living. Jen and I are engaged now. We plan on marrying in 2016. Long-time lurker, first-time posting on this thread. For a little background, my boyfriend of 3 years, Josh, and I call each other every night to say goodnight, and have done so since we began dating. About a year ago, we were on the phone when all of a sudden we both heard some weird static. I said hello a few times to see if Josh was still there, but only received more static. On my side of the call, the static turned into the sounds of someone running through the branches, like in the woods and panting. Then I heard a woman screaming, and I hung up, obviously freaked out. After a few minutes, I called Josh back to see if he'd heard what I had. What Josh had to say was even more frightening. He heard the static and the running through the trees, but I heard a deep, gravely voice say, "Your God is a lie," instead of screaming. Then the call ended, presumably when I hung up on my side. I told my dad about it the next day, and he said maybe we'd intercepted someone's call, and I just looked at him, and I said, "Then what the hell was happening on their call?" Nothing like that has happened since, but it scared the hell out of my boyfriend and I. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe for more, and make sure you check out my channel for other videos you might enjoy. And remember, it's always scarier if it's true.